Welcome to The Vault with Financielle. This is a safe space where we talk all things life and money and no topics are off limits. Howdy.
Howdy. Happy Thursday.
Happy Thursday.
I've got my mug, but it's got Coke
and vodka.
Zero in it. I don't like vodka, otherwise I'd be like, definitely. Holly won't let me have the can of Coke for the aesthetics. So I put it in a mug and I was expecting it to be warm. Like, oh, nice cozy mug. And I was like, oh, it's cold. So excuse my slurping.
Throwing you off. So the community is popping off as I'm sat here, bling, 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 bling. People are messaging through, but there's just one. We always give our opinion when you give us a dilemma. And sometimes community members will then write into the Financielle community and want to give their thoughts, side of the story.
Perspective, experience.
Yeah, especially if they have a lived experience of the dilemma, because you might know a lot of the time we haven't necessarily, like, I've not been through a divorce before, but I'm very good at giving relationship advice. Basically, we don't know what we're talking about. So I just wanted to read it from someone in the community, and it was a response to a dilemma that was read out a few weeks ago now. But I think you may remember me saying that if I had a big red flag, I would be waving it like I was on Les Mis. I was very passionate about.
I've had a few red flags.
This person escaping this relationship. I was very.
So you kept it calm then,
yeah,
and chill.
Yeah, just do whatever you want. Leave him. And it was someone in a relationship whose partner, they weren't married, even though she wanted to get married, that had a very much what's mine is mine. Mm-hmm. And what's yours is yours mentality, and did not want to bring the two finances together at all, even though they lived in a house together, I think, and had children from other relationships. But it just felt a bit off for us all.
They had kids together too.
Oh, they had kids together, right? Okay.
They had one from each relationship, and then two together.
Right, okay. So very much intertwined anyway, but the finances were kept very, very separate. So this is what one of our community members had to say. Listening to the pod today and the second dilemma, I love this, with the fella saying, what's mine is mine. I can wholeheartedly say from experience, get out now. Do not marry that man. If he will not budge on the finances, he will take everything when he decides to break it off again. That was it. He kept threatening to break off the relationship. Lucy, how do you do this?
Did you read them out?
If he will not budge on the finances, he will take everything when he decides to break it off again.
I
know. I'm styling it out. My ex-husband was the same. He would never have a joint account or shared finances. And I married him. He took as much as financially possible from me when we divorced. Despite me putting the profit of my own properties into our marital home, I never got that back. When I asked him for money towards the renovation of the marital home, he refused. I paid it all, and then he took over half of the profit when we sold, and now lives mortgage-free, whilst I had to start again. I couldn't afford the legal fees to fight in court. It would have cost so much. Just take your savings, look after you and your children. So
that's like absolute lived experience.
And she says it's always worth sharing when you've been in that position. And we have a son together as well, and he never paid towards school uniform, shoes, etc. Her fella sounds like my ex, and it set my alarm bells off. So she agrees with me.
Yeah,
that's all I can say. I knew I was right.
Saying.
Vindicated.
Yeah,
this is proof.
But it is important, and we love that, by the way. Like, if there's a dilemma that you have, this like need to share your perspective, they're all welcome, because someone will email into us with the dilemma and they might not do what we say. We're giving opinions. We're not telling someone what to do. We're giving opinions, and sometimes we give like balanced opinions. Like, we might not agree, or we might get different generational perspectives, but having people that have absolute experience can really, really help. And you guys all have that. So head to the community. If on it, you listen to this, you go, I've just listened to this pod, we will find that and we can resurface it here, or at least the people reading it, you might just help someone. Like, if we can all help someone learn from something, it might not be, I mean, she did say, don't marry this man, but it might be, no, I also think there's a warning sign. So get your shit together and do something about it. Don't do nothing.
No, we're all girls, and we want to help each other. And I think we'll do that a little bit more maybe. So if you have got lived experience of dilemmas that you're like, that's an alarm bell, or I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt and I'll tell you why I was also in a similar situation.
Yeah, challenge us.
Yeah.
And actually, you can do that straight into, if you're on Spotify, you can do it straight back. And on YouTube, you could do it straight back, and we'll find that as well. So community is a great place to put it, but feel free to get it to us and we'll share it.
Difference of opinion. I know people have DM'd us before and been like, I don't agree because, and it's always the Campervan lady.
Our favourite campervan.
People love campervan.
If we ever say anything about...
She's the only one that's allowed a campervan because she's truly
allowed.
passionate about. She's not being influenced by TikTok. I'm going to renovate the caravan for 500 quid.
No, she's
cry.
like a true campervan lover. Stan. Yeah. Whereas like it's the fair weather campervan people who just go, fuck it, I'm not going to pay into a pension and I'm not going to have an emergency fund and I'm going to splash all the cash on a campervan. And then we're like, when we have the argument of like, you can't live in your car, they can be like, we can. They got the last laugh on that one. But yeah,
I've always wanted to shower out the back of a van.
I am not a caravan person because you shouldn't poo where you cook. Is all I can say.
I mean, an apartment. You are wrong there, like a little house.
No, but you see people like cooking on the.
You have a toilet near your kitchen in your house.
It's in like through two separate. It's in the West Wing.
You've heard of don't shit where you eat, but have you heard of don't poo where you cook?
Do you know what I mean? It's just too close to home. Like I can imagine cooking and just like.
She can imagine cooking. What you cook?
Neil's literally fuming watching this now. What does she mean she can imagine cooking a pot noodle? She'd fuck that up as well. I have burnt pasta water, just so you know.
Have we talked about you dropping the curry yet?
My husband literally
she dropped a full curry.
Saint Neil now.
Full curry.
I didn't make it.
Freshly cooked.
I didn't make it. The full curry.
In a
I hope you got takeaway.
Glass Tupperware.
Oh my God.
Full curry. No one got any curry.
If it was a man, you'd be like, this is weaponized incompetence.
Yeah.
No, it's true. For
me, it was just an accident. Can happen to anyone.
Just a girl.
We've got carrying a curry in a glass Tupperware. Can you imagine how that went?
Before anyone had eaten any of it.
I was like, surely you can eat around that. I wouldn't, personally.
Holly's like, I don't fancy this. Smash.
You can eat around it. Do you want butter chicken with a side of glass?
What did you end up eating?
Oh, God knows.
You should have
something
just got
weird,
a takeaway
probably.
curry.
Oh, I can't
that
remember
wouldn't
it
have
slaved over it and I
like it was it was not a quick, it wasn't a shower's jar.
Drop the fecker.
Oh, my
Anywho. Moving on.
So yeah, don't listen to us.
We know nothing.
Okay, I've got a controversial opinion for today. Pink tax isn't real.
Who wrote this?
There were no pink taxes?
Do you want to give an example?
Yeah.
For example, painkillers.
Mm-hmm.
They'll be like, I feel like I remember seeing this exact TikTok, so I'm just going to describe it. It's a blue packet, just normal painkillers, headaches, whatever you want.
Mm-hmm.
The next ones are called like Feminax or something. Pink, menstrual pain.
Yeah.
Double the price.
Yeah.
Same
product.
Yeah.
Same product, yeah.
Shavers, they always give the example of
Razors,
shavers.
yeah.
Yes.
Razors.
Sorry. But even and like the men's ones are better.
Yeah.
Yeah, I always
cheaper.
get men's razors.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I had to stop robbing Alex's.
Tampons are taxed as luxury items.
Yes.
Oh my God, yeah.
Have they changed that now? I felt like they were looking
Dunno.
to change the
Have
law
they?
on that. Can you imagine?
Yeah.
Luxury item.
And there's two elements of tax. There's like there's pink tax, which is it's like for like.
Yes.
And then there's
comparable.
just the extra cost
Of being a woman.
of being a woman.
I
that,
do
like, is
both
not
of those. Like
added
I
together.
lump it together, even
Yeah.
though it's not really, like you say, the pink taxes having razors side by side, both do the same job, arguably made in the same factory. One's a pink one, a women's one, and it's the marketing's like gorgeous women on a beach, like shaving the legs. We all know the Venus adverts, and then the next one's like a basic blue one from a man, and it's half the price, and it's the same product, literally.
It'd be interesting to know if things like skincare or like body washes or things like typical, the more masculine ones, like £1 in the corner.
And
Yeah.
Lynx, and it does like 10 in 1.
Yeah.
Neil loves those. Like, what if you washed your hair with? Oh, that's 7 in 1 thing in there. Toothpaste.
But it is that, it's the aesthetic element and it's the branding element, and
It's knowing that women we are magpies, like whether we
But
like
I
it
was
or
just
not.
about to say, I fall for it every time.
Yeah, well, we've been brought up to pink, glittery,
magpie,
shiny,
Yeah.
like aesthetic.
special edition.
Yeah. Can you imagine having
Limited.
like, I don't know, Tesco value shaving foam in your bathroom, and then your mates coming around, you'd be like, oh, it's not mine. It's not mine. It's my husband. Whereas it's like Venus pink or like, I don't know, some fancy subscription brand that we've all been taking a fool of. I know I have. But like an aesthetic looking shaving gel foam that's like £7 more.
Yeah.
As a female, you want to look the part.
Have you seen I think a wonderful new thing that wasn't around when we were younger is period underwear.
Yes.
Massive game changing.
Underwear the other week.
My daughter has some and I don't have some. And I was only reflecting on one from an environmental point of view, but to a practical point of view, I was like,
why don't I have them?
I think I should get.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, it can't come out of the clothing budget. Like, I felt guilty for taking some of the family budget to put towards helping me and my hygiene and the planet and everything. And I need it as a basic necessity. And I'd bought it her, but even I remember thinking, oh, like,
that's a
I have to
luxury.
Invest in it. Whereas actually, it pays it back. It's much better for the environment and much better for her.
Shouldn't even be a thought.
But like the fact that I felt guilty for it, but Carl doesn't need any.
No.
So it's a nice to have. It's a basic essential, but it's something that like just isn't we have to shoulder the cost of.
What was the TikTok that you watched? I think we might have shown it on one of our first episodes. A girl that shares the period tax with her is it period tax specifically or pink tax with her partner?
I can't remember.
And I think she used to lodge. She'd do
she'd Venmo
ledger of all the.
Oh, and she would like request half the money.
Yeah,
from
so
him or something.
for like period products, she'd be like, "You don't have a period, I do." Like, bling.
Yeah.
And he's like, "All right, I'll pay for your tampons, no problem." Like painkillers. Bling. Do you remember?
Yeah, I do remember that one.
I definitely think it's easier with socials now to call it out. Like some of the bigger brands. Like I do think it was like a. Because Venus is Gillette, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it's the same.
I think so.
Yeah.
Well, it's just things like that. It was like no, like for like, but ours is this. So it would be interesting to know if it got better. If it's got better, like if
because there was do a little review on it.
Yeah, and
let's compare some prices and just see. But even like you said, the Feminax stuff, that's just totally unacceptable. That's a marketing thing. That's why I don't buy branded perfumes anymore. Because the money that's spent on it is the market. Why it's so expensive isn't the product itself.
Yeah, you're
it's
paying
the marketing.
for
Keira Knightley's having a great time on me. They're paying her multi-millions of pounds to front Dior or Chanel or whatever. She's having a great time.
Yeah.
Because Holly from Wigan keeps buying her perfume.
Well, that's why Beauty Pie did so well initially, because it was Marcia Kilgore. Is it Kilgore or Kilgore? Marcia identified that so much of the margin in beauty products was the promotion. It was a sales element to it, the cost of sale. Yeah. So it was the expensive branding and the Keira Knightley or Natalie Portman. Is it Natalie Portman that does Dior? Like the nice fancy boxes, the nice design of every single one, where she was just like, oh, let's just cut all that bit out but still give the same quality of product. And all the bottles look aesthetic but they look the same. It's not, oh, there's a nice new shiny plastic that gets put in the bin anyway. And it was a great, not just a great offer, but it was like a mind thing for lots of people, which is, oh, okay,
we've been duped.
What are you actually paying for?
We've been duped like all this time. They're made in the same factory. I love when they're like, this is made in the same factory as.
Yeah, I love that.
I mean, listen, the Zara perfume revolution.
Incredible.
And I know that we learned from you, Lucy, on this. And when
never again will I buy an expensive perfume.
When Carl was picking a perfume for Christmas, we went to Zara and they didn't have the one that we were leaning towards. And so he went, why don't we just go to Selfridges and smell Tom Ford? I was like, that's a great idea.
Oh, what? And then go back.
So we went to Tom Ford to smell a £286 aftershave.
You could buy every Zara perfume for that.
And then did you find the Zara
dupe
online?
Home. Who's smelling him? Me.
Did you find the Zara dupe online?
Got that online. Got it from Zara.
So you put like.
So we got the smell
of.
Yeah.
Whichever one
Lucy sent me a list of equivalents.
If anyone wants it, we'll share it.
I can put it into a spreadsheet.
She will not gatekeep.
But it was that I was like, oh, what a good idea. Yeah, it won't be exactly the same, but they're good enough.
Never again.
Who is spending 286 quid?
So many people. And
over
it's all on
of
credit.
Smelly liquid. Such a weird concept.
I love how like you've just brought down the House of Chanel with like just
a bottle of smelly liquid. Anyone can do that.
Light a candle. Like I said, you're working from home anyway. Who are you trying to impress? Me.
Candles are a funny one.
Literally setting fires to
I know, but I can't help
setting
it.
fire to money.
I can't help it.
I'm an impulse candle burner as well. Like, don't buy me a nice candle because I will burn it in a week.
You're supposed to though. People keep them for years. I'll keep
Yeah.
it for a special occasion. I don't know if it's a marketing ploy, but Joe Malone was like, "You're not supposed to keep candles. You're supposed because the smell goes." And I'm like,
shock.
"Do you want people to keep buying candles?"
I do think the scent would eventually
Yeah.
leave something, but
Evaporate.
it is, of course, it would sell.
Usually.
It's like when sell by dates on skincare. I'm like,
Oh yeah, I never did that.
really?
We have got a Chanel bronzer that's still going 3 years later, and every time I use it, I'm like, "Should I?" I'm going to use it, and I'm fine. Still here.
Don't do like lab tests on it.
Well, I was thinking about chopping the top layer off.
Yeah, do a little
Scraping it.
scoop.
Razor it off with your expensive razor.
Yeah.
I use a men's razor for that.
Okay, time for dilemma number 1. Should I pay off my student loan or save for a house? Hi girls, my dilemma is about student loans. I think I didn't fully understand the rules before I applied. I'm not from the UK, and even though I read the contract and researched it, I think I failed to grasp how the interest works. Now I'm trying to decide if it's better to save money and pay off my student loan, which is around 7k, or not. I'm unsure how much I'll end up paying until it finishes. Do you have any advice on student loans and their interest? Is it better to pay them off earlier if you can, or is it better to save for a deposit, invest in a property, and pay off the loan slowly? I'd love to hear your thoughts.
Not on your own, not understanding how that it's not because you're not from England.
It's a
Jeez.
minefield. It's a minefield even if you are from the UK.
How many people just, we all didn't know?
Oh, it's
We all
missold.
didn't know.
There's going to be a big, I know people, there's rumblings, but there's
Bubbling.
yes, there's going to be some sort of, I don't know, everyone's just like, they're going to just wipe them. And I'm like,
please.
I just don't ever see that happening. But there's rumblings and uproars and it's all getting a little bit, oof, isn't it, about student loans?
Yeah, well, I think people have
Like been missold.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know, the universities are struggling for money. They're not money machines. It costs a lot to provide what they want to provide, but is it a viable business then? Like, do we
No.
need as many universities? Do we need as many
Well,
courses?
they've been called out on the courses, the value of courses.
Well, you went through that. Like, you
Yeah.
didn't have physical lectures and
Yeah. But like ones that are like ridiculous, like the Beckhamology stuff. And do you
Yeah,
remember that?
like Harry Potter degrees.
Oh,
yeah, Holly's like, that sounds good.
Oh, that's not ridiculous.
but like,
But look, but during COVID, like they didn't even you didn't
Yeah.
get, it was all digital and suddenly
Yeah.
you're still paying more than anyone else.
Yeah, everyone was like, "Oh, you're paying for the equipment that you borrow to like go and film news videos." We didn't get access to it for like that. Yeah.
God.
Yeah. No, it's a really interesting one for people to sit and navigate, isn't it?
Yeah.
I feel like, you know, we love people being debt free. And so debt free is when
an achievable amount is all I would say. That
It-
7k, I'm like, get rid of it.
Yeah, no, I think
It's
I'm
not
more speaking
double figures.
to other people
Yeah.
about like that. So when you're thinking about buying a home versus student loan, knowing that the way it works in the UK anyways, it does impact you buying a home. Lots of people go, it's fine, but it's more that it's not listed as debt against your name.
Yeah.
So it's not, oh, this person's got £7,000 of debt. They'll just literally not even look at it. They will look at your reduced income though, because what happens is obviously, depending on what you earn, your wages get
affordability.
garnished.
Yeah.
So it impacts affordability. But otherwise, it doesn't impact your borrowing capability in terms of you've already got 7.
Mhm.
So some people like the idea, it does cost you. And so she said, I'm not sure how much I'll eventually end up paying off. That's because it's not like a regular loan where it's over this term, it's based on what you earn. So there might be some calculators you can do online, but what you really need to look at is forecast what you're going to earn over the next like 5 to 10 years. And you should be able to kind of work out how long it'll be before you pay it off and what you'll eventually start paying in interest. Like there will be some calculators you can do, because that at £7,000 alone might make you feel, okay, even though I don't have to clear it, that's wasted money because it is clearable. Whereas a lot of student loan is just someone that's going to pay for a tax for forever. So you wouldn't sit there and go, oh, shall I prioritise that first over buying a home?
It's not even a
no.
thought. But something so I would say, look, compared to other people's student loans that I know,
that's low.
7 is low.
Like not even 10%
Yeah.
of mine.
Okay. So
like,
what would
it's
you
low.
say to someone? All right. What would you say to someone with a £7,000 student loan?
I don't actually know. I feel like I'd say
Would you still want it hanging over you?
yeah.
It's not. It's kind of not there.
I think
though,
because I'm
is
so
it?
detached
Yeah.
from my
Yeah,
Mine's not really.
Which is right, by the way. We teach people to be detached from it because otherwise you would never do anything. You'd never be able to progress and achieve any
That's
money
why it's
goal.
not in the playbook earlier. Like it's kind of, I think we mention it, but it's definitely a caught play it as you see it, because it's only hanging over you if you can kind of, it's achievable to clear it, but you don't like it coming out your salary.
Yeah.
But
it's about how you feel.
I think if I was like, I want to buy a house, but this is stopping me.
Yes.
I would mentally get over that.
Yeah.
I would work on mentally getting over this is getting in the way, because it's probably not really getting in the way.
Yeah.
And when you've had your house for a couple of years and you're still like, right, I want to clear that.
Yeah.
Then
get
the
house
time.
first.
I think don't let it impact your life and your plans.
No,
of
don't let it hold
house.
you back. I think we do try.
It's always, the big thing with student loans is it's always connected to your earnings. And so unlike any other debt, if you have a car loan, if you have credit cards, you have to pay that. And if you lose your job or you get a pay cut or you have maternity leave or you get ill, you still have to pay it. So if you think about the stress that comes with loaning money, it's because we owe someone something all the time. The complete opposite, well, it's not complete opposite, but the difference with student loans is it is all connected to your earnings. And so if you don't earn in a month, you don't pay any loan. Yes, interest is being added on. So if you don't like that idea, that would be the only motivation that interest is annoying me because it's wasted money.
Control. It's something out of your control.
Yeah, but otherwise it's not got the pressure of a regular debt. And so I think, I hear something like 7, I'm like, that's not a crazy amount that I might want to go say for the next year I'm clearing that and I'm going all in, that's all I'm doing. But on the flip side, if you and like I said, it can help for your borrowing capability. But if you'd rather save for a home and then pay it off later, I would definitely be wanting to pay that off. I think under 10 in my head's like,
I'm like that. Single digits, I'm like, get rid of it. Get rid.
But you can work out your own order. But this is a warning to everyone, and it's not just you. So many people don't understand them. I had never understood, I was 18 years old, that interest would start accruing from the very first payment I received. Like, never understood that. So I remember getting the statement, and I was very lucky. Like, I think I came out with like about 11 or 12 because it was, we were super helped by our parents in terms of fees and stuff. So, and I didn't have top up fees. You had top up fees. Yeah. So my course was pretty cheap. And then accommodation was paid for by our parents. And so we had maintenance loans to help pay for food shops and drinking and fancy dress outfits. Like, it was
holidays,
like really super privileged. And so, and then we worked as well. But I remember going, hang on a minute, I've had 9. Why is my loan 11 and a half? And it was when it was rock bottom interest rates as well, so tiny percent. And so it's linked to obviously base rates and stuff. So definitely your parents listening to this, or people that have got student loans, just keep an eye on them and have a little look. And I think it's good to know. I think you did this. You hadn't looked, had you?
I revealed. I was putting it off for ages, and then I was like, one day for some reason that anxiety just went, and I was like, I'm gonna have a look.
And once you know. I think you feel better once you know.
Almost the fact that it's such a big number just makes
you were
it
like laughable.
Funny.
Yeah, you were like,
but it's not this unknown.
And I know also that so many people are in the same boat as me.
Oh God, yeah.
So I'm like,
right.
That's why it's referred to now as a tax. But I think knowing it and being and like having it there is much better for your financial well-being than Not that I don't know it, but even I'm signing a paper but I don't know what it is. And like I said, I think this is for more people about to go into education or trying to think about what your children will do.
Your kids,
just know what they're getting into, because coming back to what you, like I said at the very beginning, Hall, was like, what kind of courses they're doing? What's responsible here from the university's perspective?
We know so many people that have done like apprenticeships and stuff. If there's a job that you want to take where you can learn it on the go and get paid to do it, why would you not? Because you can still live that student life. Could still go out with your mates at students, go and stay at their accommodation for one night.
But you'll have to live there. You'll have to buy the drinks. But also, you can go to university at any age. So it's not now you must be 18 and go. You could restudy later into something.
Knows what they want to do when they're 18. That's the argument with it all. You don't know what you want to do. And I
16
would say,
when you're trying to pick what you want to do for your
A large
A-levels.
majority of people that we know that went to uni don't probably do anything to do with the course.
Usually.
Yes, they learnt life skills that will help them in jobs like doing projects and writing reports and doing research or whatever it might be. You do. I'm not so anti-university that I'm telling everyone not to go, because I definitely learned a lot and it definitely helped me in my career.
But it's an investment. it's like
an investment.
you're investing money. So if
it worthwhile.
If you put this in, will you get that out? And that's what's really important. And it might be yes. So then you crack on.
Yeah.
Okay. Hope that helped.
Okay, community run time. This is a fabulous podcast and it's encouraged me even more to get rid of my credit card forever. This month, I'm going to pay £1,039 off my balance and cancel and cut it up forever.
Oh my God, that's such a big amount.
I'm afraid, but my budget has been set and I'm sure it will be fine.
Don't be afraid.
I'm afraid. Close feel the fear and do it anyway.
There's nothing to be afraid of when it comes to closing a credit card.
If you get stressed, just put £1,000 back on it. If you disagree and if you don't like it, you can always spend on it again. Well, no, if not, you cut it up.
I promise you won't feel like that.
No. If you have a win to share with us, head to the community in the app or email it to thevault@financielle.com. Okay, time for our final dilemma. Should I be paying towards my husband's mortgage? My husband and I recently got married. He came into the marriage with a property that he bought 3 years ago, whereas I don't have property. We rent privately together and his property is currently rented out. The rental income covers his mortgage but doesn't really provide a profit. It just covers the bills and mortgage payments on the flat. Through listening to The Vault, I've realised that there really is no mine and yours in marriage. I should have known that before we got married, but oh well. The realisation has given me some guilt that I don't pay anything towards this flat, which is now ours, brackets, I think, please correct me if that's not right. Even though it technically costs him nothing per month due to rent covering all costs, should I be splitting the mortgage payments and running costs with him? For context, we are a dink household with no intention of having children.
This is very apt for the last few episodes. I feel like we've talked about this a
A
lot.
lot of relationship ones. I mean, from what I understand though, she says that the rental income covers the mortgage payment and some expenses and presumably like maybe a bit of tax. He will have to pay tax on that. So, but she doesn't need to.
Towards then,
So transparently.
Maybe she's feeling a bit guilty.
No, but I love that. And like, it is hers in terms of like, so it's his property. So legally it is his property. He's on the mortgage and he'll be on the title deed. So he'll own the property. As a couple and as a marriage, and this is more like if you're thinking about divorce, it's more like you tend to have, the UK takes a really strong 50-50 view on things unless there were things put in, like if they separate quite quickly, the law would look at, okay, well, if there was a dispute, by the way, they might go, well, he came in with this property and you've not contributed, you've not been together a long time. So I love that you've picked up on that because it is a really good way to look at it. Transparently, we have a rental property that is mine, in my name, and I'm on the mortgage. My husband's not on the mortgage. And he and I don't pay any of our money on it. The rental income after taxes and after like maintenance and fixes and stuff here and there covers the mortgage. So it's in a separate account and it's just circular. So I'm really lucky that I never have to put any money into it, which would be a rubbish business decision if I had to. But in the same respect, that tends to cover the tax on that property. It doesn't cover my other taxes, but it tends to cover my liabilities. So I'm not worse off. What's happening is I am building up capital value in my name over there, but we see our assets as joint. And so I definitely wouldn't complicate things by sending money over there. Leave that be. I think accept that your husband's building up an asset and you're not.
Could you do the same?
So could you do the same, or is there a plan to buy a home together? You know, at least where you kind of making sure that your income isn't just going to rent. But no, I think you're okay. I don't think he's got a bad deal. He's increasing in capital value. He shouldn't be covering the mortgage. The rent should be. So if it's like, do you know what I mean? Like if it's got a ring around it, if it's ring fenced.
Yeah.
So I think we spoke about this before about her putting money into an asset that grows in value. And I think that's maybe more the line we would probably take rather than worrying about what's going on over there. As you're married, like Laura said, if the worst comes to worst and you've been married quite a long time, generally the law is 50-50 if that's what you're thinking about. But in terms of at the moment, it doesn't sound like you're putting any money to anything that grows in value, an asset that grows in value. I don't get that impression. So maybe it's your time
Yeah,
to
he's not getting a bad deal. I think to be clear, you don't have to. Yeah, he's doing all right.
He's not got any outgoings going towards that house monthly. Like Laura said, it's circular, it's running itself, so he's not paying out of their joint
for that.
Now, if it was the other way, if actually it wasn't covering its bills and he was having to put more money that way, that's where what you do is you don't send money that way as well. No. What you do is you do a joint budget, right? So you should be doing a joint budget. And if you wanted to combine finances or just combine your budget, do that for your household, including your mortgage, including your rent, because you're in a private rental. One of the bills is supplement the house. So, you would end up putting, let's say it's 200 a month out of pocket. So your joint budget has to send 200 over there. Now, caveat to that is, that doesn't mean you've got an entitlement to any of that property or anything, but it's only a little bit of money. We're not talking a lot. Like if you're having to put £1,000, that's where you can start going, oh, should I own it too? Like I said, you're married, so there's lots of variables here. But if the property needs money, it should come from your joint budget anyway, and then you would be helping. And so I think, if you're married, I think I would expect that of Carl, my husband. If our finances were separate and I was struggling to keep a rental property afloat, aside from the fact that it's probably not a good idea to have the property, I would want help. And I think that's fair. But no, he's doing all right. Like Holly said, have a little look at making sure that whilst he's got this,
what have you got?
You are also thinking about retirement, investment.
You don't want to make it me versus you.
No.
You just want to make sure that you're both building a life together where stuff's growing and it's going to be a benefit to you both. Like, we're not planning divorce here. Like, you're talking about marriage.
Yeah.
And it sounds very positive. So
I feel
like if it was the other way around, I'd be like, red flag. I'm trying to be like calm and balanced. But like if it was like the other way around, I'd be like, oh, Jesus Christ.
The interesting thing though that she's not asked about, but an observation I have is that they rent. And when people rent, but they have a rental property, I always tell them to go away and look at the tax implications of this, because
I was thinking it sounds
when you get rental income, you're taxed on the income. And I have to say this repeatedly, it's rubbish. It's not as good as people think. You have to pay tax on the income, less some credits and stuff. And so it is much more like tax efficient to buy a home and then pay down a mortgage than it is to pay a rent and then get money over here for a rental. And sometimes people overcomplicate stuff. I love people having a home. If they're going to own a property, unless it's a transient, we're only living here for a little bit.
Yeah.
If you're settled, what's the plan for you guys? Because like I said, it might be that having your home next. They sound newly married, so like it sounds fairly new, but be looking into that instead.
It sounds a bit complicated. Let's make it simple. Stop paying so much tax.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, do the numbers.
Any final words?
I love that Holly was like, God, I'm so biased towards women.
I really am. I stand by that. I am.
But we see that so often,
just
people.
Because, well, we've got to balance it out.
Well, you do have to. And, we have lots of people getting together later. They're getting married later. They've got no kids to kind of navigate, which is kind of helpful in keeping things simple. But we are coming into relationships with different sums of money. Some people have negatives and they've come with debt, and they come with I'm the personality hire.
We love a personality hire.
And then on the flip side, you have sometimes people of imagine someone's just come into an inheritance from a parent passing away, and you just get married. That's where there's might want some protections in space for a little period of time while you navigate this new thing, because you've come with this, or I've done years of buying a house and you kind of parted it all away. And so even though I'm all about the joint finances and what's mine is yours, there's still a period of time where you
cooling
kind of
off period.
Like a return receipt.
It's giving prenup.
But it is interesting, and I think that I love it when couples think about it.
Yeah.
And I think women often don't.
Yeah.
So we're here to prod and poke.
Romantic.
And we did. She said she loves the pod, and she was like, you made me think.
That's all for this episode. The Vault is now closed. And just a quick disclaimer, The Vault is just a chat around life and money topics. We are not giving financial advice.